Donald Trump's sons look like fraternal twins. One of them looks exactly like Odo from Deep Space Nine.
I don't remember what Odo looks like.
He just doesn't have eyebrows, and he's like he can like change shape. He's like a shapeshifter, yeah. But he would like didn't grow up with like a family or whatever. So his natural, it's funny. He just sleeps in a bucket on the show. He just turns back into a puddle of cum, and like like at the end of the day, he goes back in his room and just like splash. And just turns into a bunch of cum.
DS9 was the black
Dick sucking 9, yeah. Deep Space Nine, Black Captain, Cisco,
Ben Cisco,
yeah.
And then I saw the other day Voyager, and that's the Hillary Clinton.
That's the Hillary Clinton one.
Oh, that woman is so hot. We've talked about this.
Yeah,
we've talked about.
She has big ass titties. Yeah, and I wanted.
What, right? Janeway?
Doesn't one of them have big ass titties?
The Borg, 7 of 9 has.
Yeah, she's so hot. Fuck.
Yeah, which is funny because they didn't have a sexy lady character from the get-go on Voyager. They had like a female captain. And then I don't know the internal politics or what happened, but they added 7 of 9 in like season 6 or 7 because they're like, all right, we got to have a character that's just a hot woman for nerds to beat off to. Yeah. And that's when she got added to the show.
Oh, nice.
Because they were like, let's not do the fucking, like Deanna Troi on
right.
Enterprise. Like, she's just, which is the dumbest fucking character. I love her job, but she was an empath, so she could understand people's feelings, which is an alien, by the way. It's not even a fucking human. To explain it to the autistic fucking retards that watch Star Trek, how empathy works. And you'd be like, well, there's certain aliens that understand how other people are feeling.
I feel like that's interesting. I never realized
could use
the
one on
Vulcans
staff
are
here.
just autistic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything's
Vulcans
logic
are just
with them.
autistic.
Yeah.
This is not logical.
Yeah.
Not very logical.
Yeah. No,
women owe me sex.
Those shows are great. There's an episode of Star Trek that we watched when I was taking French in middle school.
Oh, Picard, French, obviously.
Wow.
Jean-Luc.
Yeah,
French.
that's the only reason we watched it. It was a regular
Jean-Luc
episode.
Picard?
Nah, there's an episode where they meet this alien race, and like so they have these.
The original series?
No, Next Generation.
TNG.
Yeah. So the reason they can understand all the aliens, it's like they just have some like computer that it like can pick up, it understands like syntax and it immediately translates. So they meet this like race that it doesn't translate for, and only partially translates because the way they communicate is by like telling somebody a story or like reminding them of a story, and then whatever happened in that story fits the situation. So this guy's trying to communicate with
wow, that's really confusing.
Yeah. So he's like, Shaka when the walls fell. And this might be the name of the episode or whatever.
Shaka when the walls fell.
And he's like, Darmok at Tanagra, and he just says shit like that.
Darmok and Gelad at Tanagra.
And like Picard the whole time is like, yes, but what does it mean? And I was like laughing with people on Twitter a couple months ago, where, like, instead of like the stories, the aliens are just being like, the pussy, the asshole, and the vagina. And then Picard being like, yes, but what does it mean? The asshole, the woman's asshole and pussy. What is that? Some kind of warning?
Fuck.
The Tamarian seems to be stating the proper names of individuals and locations.
Yes, but what does it all mean?
The woman's asshole and vagina. The pussy entrance. What is he trying to say? That wouldn't be hard to edit together.
That is so stupid. Yeah, you could do that.
Counselor.
I sense nothing but good intentions from them, Captain.
We got into a conversation. I was telling Will we were watching one of the holodeck episodes of Star Trek Next Generation last night
with my sexy ass that Greek woman with the nice juicy
She's in
tits.
every episode.
Martina Sirtis?
Yeah.
Counselor Troy, you mean?
Hell yeah, dude.
He was not familiar with Counselor Troy.
Nah, dude. I missed a lot of that.
Every Star Trek iteration has like the sexy woman.
Sure.
And they fucked up. I think we mentioned this on the show before, but when they did Voyager, they were like, we're not going to do that this time. We have a female captain. Torres is like kind of hot, but in like a spicy Latino way.
Yeah.
She's she's like the fucking hoop earring Klingon.
She's half Klingon on Voyager.
She's half Klingon.
She's full Klingon. That'd be like,
Right.
that's too much.
Well, that's how her name is.
I always thought she was more like Torres.
She's half Puerto Rican, half Klingon. Which Jesus Christ!
Oh boy!
You know what? Honestly, I think that might be real. I think there's women like that in the Bronx that are legitimately half Klingon.
They have those
Puerto
fucked
Rican.
up foreheads.
Yeah.
They do honor killings.
I got a piece of warp drive. I don't have time for these. I love too that the way they stereotype the sexless Asian Ensign Kim into being like just falling over his dick for the robot character in that show.
But
Didn't
again,
you troll him on Twitter once?
I did. Yeah, I got into a big argument with Garrett Wang, the guy that plays Ensign Kim.
what?
Because I was explaining to him, I was like, well, I asked him, I was like, is Space China different than regular China? And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, in the Star Trek universe, the Space China that Ensign Kim comes from. And he like added me, and he's like, Ensign Kim is Korean. And I was like, he most certainly is not. I know for a fact that Ensign Kim is not a Korean character. Kim is a Korean name, but that's because the writers didn't give a shit and they just named the Chinese guy Kim. And he was like, Kim is a Korean surname. And I was like, again, the character's not. And then I went through YouTube and I actually found a video of Garrett Wang at a Star Trek convention panel explaining that Ensign Kim is Chinese and that the writers gave him the wrong name. And I was like, yeah, well, here's you fucking saying it.
And they were like, well, we've already had a Chinese series regular. I go, who? They go, you. Kim's Chinese. What? At which point I look at this writer, this Ivy League educated writer, and I go, are you kidding me? He goes, what, Kim's not a Chinese name? I go, no! And this is at the end of Voyager, and now I realize they thought I was Chinese the whole time.
That is such a good dunk.
He was like, what's your problem, man?
No, but honestly, he's right. What is your problem? Who does all that research to troll Ensign Kim or whatever his name is?
I just happen to know that about
Garrett Wang. Garrett Wang.
Fucking research.
Which, by the way, Garrett Wang, hilarious name.
Yeah. No, I used to ask him about Gates McFadden and if she was like okay because her Twitter is pretty fucking crazy. She's a doll of herself as like Dr. Crusher. That she plays with.
Crusher could get it too.
Videos.
She's fire.
Bizarre. Yeah, she was.
The original hook for this was how Star Trek, the writers of basically every one of the Star Trek series, like wrung so much out of the holodeck conceit, and then like at least every season there would be one all holodeck episode that were always miserable. Yeah. Just terrible in every way.
They got this because they got lazy about writing space shit, so they were like, fuck it, let's just write Maltese Falcon. And the exit button got broken. So it's gonna, and you know what? It's lazy writing because all of the characters are these like god characters, where it doesn't matter how the story progresses because they always know they can leave the holodeck.
Right.
So they present like the conceit of this one was that there's some like a jade monkey or whatever that this mob boss needs, and Picard is like the private eye that has access to it. But they never have to address any part of that story because Picard's like, they think I have something they need. Isn't that funny?
Well, there was ones where
they're laughing when the guy gets shot.
Oh yeah, which by the way, they go, we've brought along our fiction officer, and it's like.
An experience like this is more enjoyable when shared, so I've invited our fiction expert, Whalen, to accompany me.
So that guy's just going to be dead at the end of the episode. You're never going to see him again.
Well, there was one where Data kept doing holodeck scenarios where he would play as like Sherlock Holmes or something. And again, this is sort of like a shout out to the show's fan base of like, using games to teach you about literature and real human life. But like it was like the conceit of that episode is that like, again, they get stuck in the holodeck and they go through some sort of cosmic radiation, and it makes the Moriarty character self-aware and deadly, and like can actually kill you in the holodeck.
Yeah.
Ooh. And again, just like don't have a holodeck.
Yeah. No, the only time it was actually useful, I think, was like on Voyager with the Tuvok Pon farr episode, where the Vulcans, they have to fuck. They can only fuck every 7 years, but they have to fuck or they die.
Or they just go, they just go insane. They just go fucking crazy.
That's me.
Yeah. So
is that like 7-year nut just builds up in their brain.
Their balls must be so heavy on like year 6.
Wait, Tuvok was the black Vulcan?
Vulcans are no fap. Save it till marriage.
Gorilla mindset. They're autists for sure.
They're gorilla mindset guys, but then they have
very logical
breaking point of 7 years because you can't be no fap that long. So, but in Voyager, the idea behind the show is that they get trapped in the Delta Quadrant, so they're so far away from anyone they've ever seen before, and so they hit the 7-year mark, and there's no one for Tuvok to fuck, so they have to just let him fuck in the holodeck.
I am a married man. It's the holodeck, Tuvok. It doesn't count. Is that what you tell your wife?
And I always like, because, it's a room it's a hologram, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have enough ability to manipulate the physics of the hologram so that you can touch the hologram.
Texture and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, but anything that's produced in the hologram isn't made out of whatever substrate material that the hologram creates. So if you're all I'm saying is there's got to be just buckets of cum on the floor of the hologram.
Yeah. The floors are caked over.
Like there's some Starfleet ensign, like the Will Wheaton character, like part of his duty would be actually just like mopping down the holodeck. Like fucking Travis Bickle's cab.
Right. Well, Will Wheaton's such a perfect good boy on the show that he actually lives solely off cum. He's a 100% clean celestial being.
He's a good boy.
In touch with the universe.
Now, I like the idea that there's some kind of video feed without the hologram, so you just see the guy fucking in space, in air, and you just see like his dick fucking pumping, and there's no pussy around it.
Yeah.
You just see I want to see that shit, dude. I want to see the feed, the uncut feed without the holograms.
Yeah,
just wearing a Sherlock Holmes outfit.
He's still in costume with his dick out.
Yeah. No, and I love too that the dumb shit that they're obsessed with in the holodeck is always things that baby boomers like.
Yeah.
Like the idea that in the year 2630 that Tom Paris on Voyager, he's always working on a Camaro. Like a 1970 Camaro. And then fucking
that's sort of like the equivalent of nowadays, like hobbyists build their own trebuchet.
Yeah, right.
Even manuscript.
Yeah.
15th century.
Right. No, but not only like being interested in it as a part of history, but because he's like this thing, man, it's got fucking 240 horsepower at the wheels.
This is a fully stock 1969 Chevy Camaro, one of the earliest muscle cars ever made.
And it's
you're literally traveling faster than light to a different galaxy.
You're getting moon pussy left and right, my man. You care about fucking horsepower.
Yeah. Well, the one iteration of Star Trek that I thought did the most, or at least acknowledged that the holodecks would mainly be used for pornography and just jacking off, is Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine is the only good Star Trek.
That's my favorite series. But like Quark's bar, he's always like renting out the holodeck, but it's clear that he's just like a sleazy fleshmonger or whatever.
Well, the Ferengis are Jewish.
Yeah.
It took them a while to just be like, let's just do a Jewish character. And then they went all out. Like the nose would be too obvious. So give them giant ears.
I don't know about that.
Oh fuck!
Anything can be had for a price. Gold press latinum.
They're so ghoulish.
Oh yeah, they were into coins and stuff.
They loved gold coins.
Seriously,
they were obsessed with gold coins.
They play. You do a spin and the spinning top game to win the gold coins.
The sexy girl on DS9 was like Dax was like pretty moderate. And she was probably the hottest of all the Star Trek women.
Dax?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the captain was Obama.
Yeah, the captain was Obama, who was old friends with Dax, so they had this weird homosexual relationship.
Well, the conceit with Dax is that she is like a hybrid of like
symbiont.
Like she like looks like basically like a human woman with some like freckles on the side, but her body is host to this like alien worm that contains the memories of all of its past hosts. So she's like an amalgam of like 10 or 12 different people's life experiences.
And Cisco was boys with whoever that worm infected life.
This is going to take some getting used to.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm still the same old Dax.
Oh shit.
So basically Dax is a woman that got herpes from Cisco's friend from college. And he's like, good to see you, old man.
It's good to see you too, old man.
He calls her old man all the time. Yeah.
Old man is
Does
her
that
nickname.
mean she knows how to fuck so good? She knows how to fuck like 10 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Dick,
She's
so
had
she
like
knows how to suck one.
guys know what guys like.
That's why it's called Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dick's back walls 9.
We said
all the way
walls
in.
9. Oh fuck.